her own age because she was probably awkward and no one liked her. So the gentleman married a woman named Lady Tremaine, who had 2 daughters, Anastasia and Drizella, names only a mother could love. That's my commentary. He hoped this would make his little girl happy. Now, I actually used to do this. Funny story. This is really not funny at all, actually. But when I was a senior in high school, we had service projects, and so we had to actually go out into the community, and so I chose to go into a 4th grade classroom because, well, I was insane. And we had story time, as I do these voices for them. And 4th graders are stupid, so they couldn't. They laughed at everything. So we'll try some of those voices on you and see, well, if you were proficient on the see. Soon after, the gentleman died, probably because he hated his wife so much, and Lady Tremaine revealed just how jealous she was of his daughter. The cruel woman forced her stepdaughter to work as a servant. She sent the girl to sleep in the misty attic and called her Cinderella. Cinderella was never sad, though, and she grew up, she made friends with the birds who nested nearby, and the mice who lived in the attic. So what we have here is a young girl who is communing with mice.
They dance. That's exciting.
The animals thought Cinderella was the sweetest and most beautiful girl in the world because, well, they're animals. What is this? Every morning the mice and birds woke Cinderella from her dreams so that she would begin her long day of chores. What I'm imagining is a young girl waking up and having mice and birds in her hair. Right? And let's sit with that image, shall we? Cinderella started by feeding Lady Tremaine's nasty cat, Lucifer. Oh, we've got some religious text here. A little religious allusion. So Lucifer, we know, is a light bearer. We're having a dramatic reading of Cinderella. Then she fed the barnyard animals and the mice. I wonder if they were still in her hair when she fed them. Maybe that we learn later in the story. Finally, she got breakfast trays ready for her stepmother and stepsisters. "Pick up the laundry and get on with your duties," Lady Tremaine would often say when Cinderella arrived with breakfast. There should really be a comma there. "Yes, stepmother," Cinderella always answered politely. One day, Lady Tremaine received an announcement from the king. There was to be a ball at the palace that night in honor of the prince. By royal command, all eligible maidens were to attend. "Why, that means I can go too," Cinderella exclaimed. Lady Tremaine looked at her coldly, as I often look at you. "I see no reason why you can't go," she said, "if you get all your work done." Cinderella worked hard all day long, because she's an idiot, but there was just too many chores. Poor Cinderella returned to her attic. She hadn't had any time to find a ball gown. Just then the mice and birds surprised Cinderella. They had fixed up a gown for her to wear. It's so great. It's great. Hello.
Oh my God, that's her mommy's
What's that?
What are the motifs?
What are the motifs?
Animals.
Mice seem to figure large in this game. Cinderella hurried down the stairs. "Wait, please," she called. Hearing Cinderella's voice, Lady Tremaine, Anastasia, and Drizella turned and stared at her lovely gown. In a rage, her stepsisters pulled and ripped at Cinderella's dress until it was in tatters. Have you seen Mean Girls? I actually have not seen Mean Girls.
It's on Netflix.
What's that?
Not anymore.
On what?
It's not on
On
Netflix
top 10
anymore?
lists of worst films of all
Oh,
time.
wow.
What's going on over here?
We're drawing.
Oh, great. Cinderella ran to the backyard and cried. Why did she run to the backyard?
This is my...
It helps the story.
You're ruining... Because that's where her mother's willow tree
Okay,
is.
let's pause
That's
for a
where her
moment
mother's willow
and talk
tree
about
is.
narrative pacing.
Jesus doesn't.
We have her dress ripped to shreds, and all of a sudden she's in the backyard crying. Like, how does?
She's upset, and that's where her mother's willow tree is.
I don't know that.
No, she wanted
Not
to
yet.
No, that's where.
The mice. Do you think the mice were in her hair when she got dressed? Do you think that she was going to go to the ball with like mice and birds in her hair?
Yeah, and the prince was gonna fall in love with her. Anyway.
Warts and all,
because-
huh?
Yeah. Anyway, because he's a good person.
What's your definition of good?
Not.
We talked about equivocation
Yeah.
yesterday. The definition of is, right? Yeah. Oh, now you really don't mean that, a gentle... Oh, no, I skipped something here.
She ran to
She's
the
in
backyard.
Oh, and she says there's nothing left to believe in. Oh, now you really don't mean that, a gentle voice said. Where'd the voice come from?
It's her godmother.
So now you're ruining the story!
You have to keep reading!
Honestly, if I didn't have my commentary, I'd find this absolutely deplorable. So you get what you get, all right?
Anyway, continue. Cinderella is my favorite.
Okay, vote about it.
When I
If
turn
you'd lost
18.
all your faith,
Snow White's
I
better.
couldn't be here. She's hearing voices. McBirth? McBirth. See, what I meant to say was Macbeth heard voices.
It's my
And he
favorite
ends up without his
restaurant.
head at the end of the play. And here I am, strangely, having appeared from nowhere. This stranger that you don't know who's in your backyard. Are you familiar with the phrase stranger danger?
I love the X-Files.
Cinderella looked up and saw a woman with a magic wand standing in front of her. It was her fairy godmother, because those are real. It was a wave. With a wave of her wand, the woman transformed a pumpkin. Now, why couldn't it be a guy? That's the gender reading of Cinderella. Why does a fairy godmother have to be a woman? I don't know. A pumpkin into a coach, 4 mice into white horses, a horse into a coach. With a wave of her wand, the woman transformed a pumpkin into a coach. Okay, sure. 4 mice into white horses, a horse into a coach. You had a horse already.
Duplicated.
Was he white?
Why's he gotta be white?
Never mind. You've read those books.
You know the book. Tell us about it.
I do. It's magic. I don't. I'm not gonna say anything else.
No.
And now a socially conscious reading. Why has it gotta be a white horse? Just saying. Thoughts that should keep us up at night. And the barnyard dog into a footman. So the guy's already a dog, and now he's got to be a footman. I mean, what a way to go.
Me.
Then the fairy godmother noticed Cinderella's ripped clothing. She made her a beautiful gown and tiny glass slippers. She warned Cinderella that the magic would last only until midnight. What's this now?
Something.
By the time Cinderella's coach arrived at the palace, the ball had already begun. The king stood with the Grand Duke on the balcony above the dance floor. He hoped that his son would fall in love with the maiden that night. Just then... See the awe moment? Wait for it. Just then, Cinderella entered the ballroom. The king and the Grand Duke watched as the prince walked over to her. Awkward. The king beckoned to his musicians to strike the waltz. The prince and Cinderella whirled across the floor. Seems like a bit much. Oh, here they are whirling. They still have 8th grade dances, dog in middle school?
Sadly.
Is it still, as I remember it, where like, the boys are over there, and the girls over there, and they're all like, oh, I can't look over there because it's just so ugly.
Awkward couples that are just in the middle.
Oh, God.
Say less about that. Where are we?
Probably.
They twirled.
All evening, the prince stayed by Cinderella's side, because he's a clinger. Cinderella had such a wonderful time that she forgot about her fairy godmother's warning. All of a sudden, the clock in the palace tower began to strike midnight. Bang. Bang. Oh! Cinderella said goodbye to the prince and ran toward the palace door. As she ran, one of her slippers flew off, but Cinderella couldn't stop. She had to get home before the magic wore off. Cinderella leaped. I prefer leapt. Into the coach and raced for home. As she rounded the first corner, the clock struck 12. The spell was broken, and Cinderella and her friends changed back to the way they looked before the ball, so the mice are probably back in her hair. Cinderella, you're... Oh, no, it's Cinderella. No, that's cute. Right? A little diminutive, right? Make the woman appear smaller. This is great text. Gender empowerment is what this is. Am I not reading this again? Okay. She looked down. Sure enough, one glass slipper remained on the pavement. Thank you so much for everything, Cinderella said in a hushed voice. She knew her fairy godmother could hear her. Back at the palace, the king was upset that the girl had run away. All she had left behind was one of her tiny slippers. The king instructed the Grand Duke to find the girl whose foot fit the slipper. The next morning, when Cinderella heard that the Grand Duke was coming with the slipper, she dropped a breakfast tray in shock. Why is that a narrative detail that needs to happen? Right. Oh, I know what I should do. Make sure she drops the tray. That lets you know how shocked she is. This is god-awful. Is what this is. Lady Tremaine saw the dreamy look in Cinderella's eyes. She suspected that Cinderella was the girl whom the prince had fallen in love with. Now, why would she suspect that? She's obviously an idiot. When Cinderella went into her bedroom, her wicked stepmother locked her inside. Well, these days, the police are called because of these things. The Grand Duke reached Cinderella's home and held the small slipper up to Anastasia's huge foot.
Cinderella had tiny feet.
You're Cinderella.
Had tiny feet. I am
I've
Cinderella.
honestly never read this before.
I've never read it.
What?
Never mind.
Learn from it, internalize it, move on. But try as she might, the girl could not make the shoe fit. Meanwhile, the mice crept toward Lady Tremaine's chair. They were determined to free Cinderella. The mouse at the front dropped down into her coat pocket and grabbed the key to Cinderella's room. Then the mice scurried off to the attic and freed Cinderella. What is this over? Jeez. Oh, okay, ugly duckling. Great. When Cinderella got downstairs, she saw that the Grand Duke was leaving. "Your Grace," she cried out, "please wait. May I try it on?" The footman cried. The shoe toward the girl. No, he didn't cry. He didn't cry. I apologize. He carried the shoe toward the girl. The footman's crying in the corner. The shoe toward the girl, but Lady Tremaine tripped him, and the slipper fell off. Crash! It shattered into 1,000 pieces. Cinderella was not upset. "You see, I have the other slipper." Now, weren't they all supposed to? Wasn't everything supposed to switch back at midnight?
Her slippers were the only thing that
Her
stayed.
slippers were the only thing that
Why?
stayed.
Why?
That's how
Why?
That's how the story goes. I don't know. I didn't write it.
Magic.
Magic wore off though.
Nah?
Magic wore off though.
No.
Yeah.
Lady Tremaine was horrified.
Beautiful story.
Is it April Fool's Day? I think it's
But
almost
the
the
Grand
end.
Duke was very happy. The footman tried the slip on Cinderella. It fit perfectly. Soon, Cinderella traveled to the palace. The prince was overjoyed to see her again. So the prince didn't go out by himself. That's what I'm hearing from this. He stayed at home. He had some chips, maybe. He couldn't be bothered to put on pants and go out and find the girl himself. Is what I'm saying.
It has its flaws.
Why are you acting as an apologist for a crappy story?
Cinderella is my favorite story.
Why?
Because when I was little, I used to think I was Cinderella because I had really small feet.
Wow.
Did you hear voices in your backyard too?
No.
I mean, I'm not judging.
No.
The king was quite delighted too. In fact, the entire kingdom was thrilled. For Cinderella won the heart of everyone she met. Not unlike Lady Macbeth. Except very much not unlike Lady Macbeth. Cinderella and the prince were married, and she became a princess. I feel like this is damaging. It's not over yet. I just keep talking. I feel like this is damaging for young women.
I turned out fine.
No, it's not damaging.
Okay. Okay.
The royal couple lived happily ever after not. The end.